Welcome to Redvee TV, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2019 season. And this is the show about what you've missed since the season ended, or what we've not discussed.
Yeah.
Danny Richardson signed for Cass.
And Twitter went back to 1997 when Lee Breers left. I think that was the biggest thing I took from that.
Shock announcement.
Yeah.
It was always coming, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Danny needs to play.
Yep.
For many other Super League sides in Super League, he would have started for, but I think we went with Farge this season and we won a grand final and lost only 3 games all year long.
Yep.
So for me, the means justified the end. Danny just couldn't force his way back in, and I think he needed to move on. Maybe you can't afford to carry 3 quality halfbacks maybe on a roster in a salary cap sport.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. I think quite a few people who I'd seen over social media were turning around saying, "Oh, it's stupid to let him go." The problem is, he's in the last year of his contract, so at least we've got money for him.
Yeah. Essentially, it might have been the fee probably covered his wages that we paid him for the last 12 months. So it's been...
And you know what? If he's on X amount that we're going to pay out, if at the end of that contract he's not playing for Saints, and we turn around and say, we'd like you to sign a new deal, it's exactly the same terms, and he turns around and goes, hang on a minute, I can earn another 20 grand by travelling over to Castleford every week.
Listen,
do you do it?
He was end of next season, he's always going to go on a 3. Or especially, I think for the good of his career and as a club, with our youth developments, you need to give him that chance to leave, because he didn't have the greatest year. He got forced out of the side by Farge. It's not fair on him to make him sit on the bench for another 12 months and potentially damage his career.
Yeah, nobody wanted Danny Richardson to have to leave.
And do you know what? I don't want him to go to Cass and fail. I want him to go on and do well for himself.
There's only a couple of times a season that I want him to fail, and that's against us.
Yeah.
And that's just me as a Saints fan talking rather than a detractor of Danny Richardson. Because as I say, no one wanted Danny Richardson to fail the Saints.
At the start of the season,
yeah,
we discussed Richardson or Farge. I went with Richardson.
Yeah.
So there's been no negative agenda against him. You say it as you see.
He's a more natural 7, probably out of the two of them.
And I think with Truman at Cass, he'll go well next year.
Yeah, I'd have liked to have almost seen him play with, and again, this is no detriment to Johnny Lomax or Theo Farge, but play with a Lee Breers type to kind of bring him on, to kind of push him and pull him where he should be at that point, so it becomes second nature to him.
And you know what? People go, oh, it might be like Lee Breers, but Lee Breers had a good career. Did Lee Breers come back to haunt us?
There's not many, if any, that we've let go on a free, or let go because the contract was running down, who've come back to haunt us.
And you know what?
He might be the first.
I like Cass as a club, so I'm glad he's gone somewhere where I don't have to potentially dislike him. Like Warrington or Wigan. Because let's be honest, Wigan could have took him. So, yeah, good luck, Danny, at Cass.
Yeah, just going back to it as well, because it's a salary cap sport, you've always going to have the youngsters coming through as well, who might provide better value for money. And
I think we said this on Twitter at the time, didn't we? And you saw it at the grand final. Was it Lewis Dodd who was in the change room, hands on the trophy, and I think we sent him a tweet saying, that's your aim.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, Saints are probably looking 2 or 3 years down the line.
And you've got Jack Wellsby who's
Jack Wellsby as well. But potentially for me, you hear the rumours about maybe in a year or 2, Theo Farge wants to try himself in the NRL if he can get a deal down there. So, there's going to be a route of progression. So, Lewis Dodd next season should hopefully get some game time. And start introducing him.
This is where, you'd be looking at him playing, 3 to 5 games possibly next year.
Because you can't be in a situation where if you keep Richardson, Dodd doesn't get a chance, and then you don't find out what he's capable of. And from speaking to well-connected sources around the club, ex-players, etc., they really rate Lewis Dodd. Lewis Dodd, we're hoping, will be a little bit of a breakout star next season. Probably get maybe the same amount of game time as maybe like Jack Wellsby got this year. Potential friendly in Valencia. So, Gareth Walker from the Daily Mirror broke it online, another good exclusive for himself. That Saints and Salford are likely to be playing a pre-season friendly in January as part of a double header. A double header with Featherstone, that's what I was coming next, against the Valencia Hurricanes.
Your Spanish accent hasn't got any better since the season ended anyway.
The Featherstone game has been announced, so we assume Saints Salford is coming as well.
Yeah.
The weekend of the 10th of January, I believe. I've seen people complain about it. Why? It's a pre-season game. Chances are most of our internationals will probably be still on the holidays on Valencia Beach. Valencia got a beach?
Yeah, it's on,
Has it?
on the coast.
Okay, see.
Good
Good job.
anyway. He says.
Look at Google Maps afterwards.
It's got two football games, I know that.
It's a paid-for trip, we're led to believe, as a part of a commercial deal to promote the game out there. So somebody comes along to your workplace and goes, listen, will you come on a training weekend to Spain and just play an exhibition game at the end of it? No, because the 2,500 people who would turn up in the freezing cold of the Totally Wicked might moan. Sorry. The club's about building for the season, and a warm weather training camp paid for in Spain is an absolute no-brainer, and that is why we have got people at the club like Mike Rush who've done sports business management masters galore, have the caps, and we don't make the decisions they do.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Why not be involved in games like this? It's not taking anything away from your season ticket.
No.
It's something that you're not forced to go to.
And guess what? I won't be, because do you know what? I don't do pre-season games. If I do turn up at a pre-season game, either football or rugby, I get there, 10 minutes in, I'm sat there thinking, oh, why? I don't think you learn anything from them, but there will be some Saints fans who want to go make a weekend of it.
Yeah.
Away in Valencia. Good luck to you. I wouldn't go if it was at home. Sorry. I'm just being brutally honest. And listen, I say this as somebody who loves sport, both football and rugby, all my life. I just don't do pre-season games anymore. I know you do.
Yeah, I've been to a couple.
Will you be going? Or will it be too close to Christmas?
Possibly too close to Christmas.
Oh,
We'll see what Father Christmas brings me. If he brings me a plane ticket to Valencia and a hotel, then yeah, I'm going. We'll see what happens.
Will you do Redvee TV for us?
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Take a cut out of me.
Yeah, I'm sure. There's been
I've
plenty
not got that many holidays, I'm afraid, either from work.
I've seen plenty of replies to us saying that there's people going over there. So
You'll have someone to
I'm
sit
sure. I'm sure if I do get out there, I'll be able to cobble together a bit of Redvee TV.
I'm being brutally honest. Yeah, I wouldn't go if it was here, and I'm definitely not going all the way to Spain for it.
Okay.
But yeah, I hope we do well out there.
Yeah.
And get a nice tan, nice bit of training in, and get fully prepared for the season.
The only thing before you move on that I kind of disagree with you is potentially the internationals still being away, because it's 3 weeks before the season may potentially start. That all depends on when the season starts.
But how much game time do you give them?
Well,
do you
take half a game.
Do you take a squad of 30 and play everybody
yeah.
that much? Yeah. So you're not going to learn anything from it. So if you don't go, you're not going to learn anything from it. It's about fitness and beating Salford.
I'm trying to find a good bar in Valencia. I'm sure there's plenty.
The question is, sorry, if you go to Valencia and you find a nice bar, will you make the game?
Who knows?
Okay. Sad news, Mike McClennan.
Yep.
I think it probably says a lot about him that the pictures that was released from when he was in the care home in New Zealand still had the Saints tracksuit top.
Yeah.
Which probably shows just how much the club meant to him. And a lot of fans will remember him. He was a little bit before my time, but I knew the name because I knew what he'd done for the club when he was here. And some of the tributes that we've seen both from the club, Dave Dooley Heritage Society, and on the Redvee forums on Twitter, people are really gutted about it.
Yeah, a lot of fond memories of him. That's it. He was early 90s, so just as I started watching Saints, and that's it. He probably laid the platform for what came next, because within a couple of years we'd won our first Super League title. Yeah, I think we'd had Eric Hughes in between, and then Sean McRae took us to that first title. But he probably laid down them foundations. There's a lot of players at the club still, or just going into like the mid-90s, who were with him.
Yeah.
When he first started, and yeah, it's very, very sad news to hear that one of our coaches unfortunately passed away.
One of Saints' greatest games, the 41-6.
Yep.
The Cause jersey.
Yep.
Everybody still watches that DVD because it was such a good performance at that time. And
yeah.
Mike McClennan behind that.
It always sticks in my mind because I went to high school in Wigan, and I think I'd just started. Yeah, I just started high school.
It's border, isn't it?
I'd well in Ashton, yeah. I'd just started there, and I made sure I kept mentioning it over and over again. Not 41-6, because back then it was unheard of giving Wigan a wiping like that. So
there you go, Mike McClennan.
McClennan.
Give a good start to high
bragging
school.
rights, yeah.
But yeah, condolences to all of Mike's family and everybody knew him over in New Zealand. GB. Again, they're over in New Zealand. Last week played Tonga. In the light of this weekend's result against Australia, probably wasn't a bad result.
Yeah.
But Wayne Bennett, would you get rid?
Well, I didn't get up for it this morning, so
I didn't.
That
shows my lack of interest in Great Britain at this moment in time with him in charge.
You know what? It's such a shame because it's such an iconic brand, and I don't know because of having him in charge and what you read. Because as I say, I'm not getting up at 4 o'clock on a Saturday on one of my days off to watch Great Britain, and I've not had a chance in between then and me getting up and now to watch it back. But because it is such an iconic brand, is it being handled in the right way? It just seems to me like it's we can just cobble this together. Yeah. We can just throw it together.
My issues with it are the team selections. Like, he played Coote at fullback last week. We didn't win. He didn't have a stinker of a game. He didn't have a great game, but gets chucked out completely.
Did he have a knock or
he was dropped just to shoehorn Johnny Lomax into the side at 1, but he hasn't played at 1 all year. And he should have been in the halves. Now, for me, Saints have been the absolute most dominant team in Super League all year. For the Saints players who were there and are fit, for me, you put them in your 13 and build a team around. And
well, you probably look at your NRL players as well before you start necessarily building around your Saints players. But you have a look at your NRL, you have a look at your Saints players, then you start filling gaps. The bits that you read on social media are the wingers that he's picked just aren't up for it.
When you look at it now, you saw Ryan Hall there, Jimmy McGillivray. Regan Grace was unlucky to miss out. Regan Grace would do a better job. Look at the we were discussing tries earlier on in one of our other videos, and Regan Grace was breaking lines and going length of the field 4 or 5 times last season. This Great Britain team is just one out.
It's missing that. It's almost like a Saints of about 2000 and what would you say 12, 13, where there wasn't really that much pace knocking about. I know, it's a shame that a couple of lads have got injured, but currently Great Britain, even before the tour, Great Britain wasn't exciting me enough to mean I'm setting an alarm for 10 to 4 in the morning to get up and watch it. And I think that a bit that's to do down with the social media as well.
But listen, it says a lot about it for me that last week's game, I was still flicking between that and the Union semi-final. And do you know what? I genuinely don't like Union. I'm not going to be one of these people who sit here bashing the game. I'm just not a fan of it. But I still want England to win.
Yeah.
And I cared more about England winning that game than Great Britain winning the other.
Well, as I say, it's almost like you have a look at the social media, and it's just the RFL kind of site that's been, like the Twitter account that's been rebranded as Britain, but still with the RFL handle. Yeah. And you think, it's just a half-baked kind of, there we go, we've got all the kit, we're going to send them down, we can pick a couple of extra players than we used to. I almost think, because it looks like it's been devalued, I almost think like the Scotland-Greece game last night looked like a better proposition to watch.
Yeah.
Which we will put a little remark in. Luke Douglas scored the last try in that game in his last appearance and kicked the conversion as well. So good on you, Dougie. It's a shame that we haven't seen him in the Redvee because I don't think he let anybody down.
And he had a great year at Leigh.
He did have a great year at Leigh. I think he pretty much wiped the board for their
awards. Yeah.
Their awards.
So Wayne Bennett, would you keep him next year?
No.
For me, who would you get in? Sean Wayne.
Listen, he'll rabble rousers. I don't think he'd play an exciting brand of rugby. I think
he'd play more exciting brand of rugby than Wayne Bennett. Yeah, and I bet you'd get you winning rugby.
That's the thing. You almost get the winning then.
Listen, we've had this debate on here, haven't we?
Yeah.
When previous incumbents of the Saints job, and I've said and you always have Saints fans going, I want entertaining rugby. No, winning comes first. Once you're winning, then you can look at entertainment, because let's be honest, No, you can have the most free-flowing, entertaining rugby in the world, but if you get beat, that's what people remember. And I don't care what people say. Winning comes first.
Yeah, okay. But I think it's because it's just 3 games, and does it really count? Is it because we're not playing the Aussies? Does this toll really count?
Have we only one more game?
I think so. If we'd have thrown it about a bit and still lost, I think it's slightly different club to country. That if we'd have thrown it about a bit and lost, at least it'll look like, well, they're trying.
Daft question, by the way. Oceania Cup. How do you win it? I'm assuming Tonga have won it.
Tonga have won it, haven't they?
Must have won both games. What was if Australia have won that one? Who wins it?
Don't know. This is how disenfranchised I am, and this is the problem, and this is why when because
I don't trophy.
I don't know. I don't mind rugby union. I'm not a massive fan of it. I understand a lot of the rules of it. I
understood this morning. We had a conversation regarding them scrums, and my understanding of it was so basically the bigger, fatter pack pushed at the scrum won a penalty. So basically the people who pushed the most got the points.
Yeah, there was. I mean, they could have gone a little bit early.
Listen,
anyway.
I am showing my ignorance about rugby union, and you know what? Yeah, I don't understand it. So I'm not going to bag it that much. I just don't understand it and don't want to understand it. So, but still wanted England to win. Okay,
but with it, I'm disenfranchised with international rugby because of the Great Britain tour.
I've got no interest in international rugby because it's a disorganised mess.
That's it. It's disorganised. You look at how rugby union do it, and that's the pinnacle of their game. And I would kind of bet that quite a few rugby league fans kind of care more about the club than international, rather than taking them both hand in hand and saying, actually, I want England to do as well. Because you look back when Sam Tompkins was played for England, and people were booing him. I think it was at Headingley that people were booing him, and you think, hang on, he's an England player, he's not pulling a Wigan shirt on. If you think he's an idiot, fair enough.
If you're gonna boo somebody in an international shirt, just don't go.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with it is Australia, who essentially are the number 1 team, don't care about it. And if the number 1 team who don't care about it, it doesn't give it the game any credibility. Which brings me on to Tonga, because Tonga beating Australia this morning may well change Aussie attitudes a little bit, because it might give them a little bit of a wake-up call.
It's part of the problem with Australia as well. People see state of origin as the pinnacle.
Yeah, potentially.
And I know it's not a club game, it's a representative game, but it's close enough to being a club game. And people see that as the pinnacle rather than international sport. Is that one of the things that has got to change?
Another thing that's got to change, Tonga beat Australia this morning. How many transfer requests will Australia put in for Tonga's players now?
Can they? Are they not tier 1 now? I don't know how it works. This is it again.
Who knows?
Disenfranchised with it completely.
Yeah. Listen, there was an article on NRL.com this morning which didn't even know that Australia hadn't been beat by Great Britain since 1978. Bizarrely, that's the Australian attitude, and probably that filters out. But yeah, there we go.
Bit of arrogance.
That said, that Tonga coach ain't half bad, is he?
He'll do from what I've heard.
Would you have him?
Yeah, that's it. If we had an opening for a coach, yeah.
I hope. Well, I'm glad that contract was signed before Tonga decided to do what they've done over the last couple of games, because you probably could have put another 0 on that contract.
This sounds like a great shout. Like
I've got somebody at the club now throwing a plate at the screen saying, "Don't say that."
Yeah, it's almost like Morgan Knowles signing his new deal just before the last World Cup, and then a load of players turning around going, "Who's this kid?" It's just great timing by the club.
And listen, I don't think anybody will look back in 2 years if Christian Wolf doesn't do a great job and goes, "We made a mistake getting him." Listen, best available at the time.
Yep.
We're marking on video, so fully looking forward to Christian and his family coming over. I've seen some of the Jared songsters who've gone over to New Zealand for the tour.
Met up with him, haven't they? His wife has said his kids are looking forward to getting pet rabbits. I saw a tweet.
Mr. Leavesley. Mr. Leavesley and his wife have been filling them in about life in St Helens, and they obviously now know where pets are owned.
Yeah.
What about pet rabbits? I don't know. They're not having in Australia. Do they like
might be killed by snakes? I don't know.
Do they just fry in the sunshine?
No, could get killed by creepy crawlers.
Okay. The club's first official interview. So, Christian, welcome to St. Helens. What have you named your rabbits? There you go. I think we'll end it there.
Good idea for you, that, Jay.
We'll catch you in a couple of weeks. We'll stay relevant during the off season. When there's something to talk about, you'll see a video pop up. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we will catch you for the next episode of Redvee TV. Catch you soon.